Yesterday we got one of these roasted chickens from the deli, and I have quite a bit of it left over, so today I'm going to make a chicken stew. I've already got it started. In this I've got just a tad bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon of butter, and I am sauteing some onions, celery, and carrots. I'm going to cook these for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to start shredding this chicken, and then I will add the chicken to this, and I might go ahead and add some of this chicken fat just for the flavoring, but then I'll remove that later on as it's cooked down. I debone that chicken and cut it up into bite-sized pieces. I did add a couple pieces of chicken skin or chicken fat to this as well, and I threw it in with these vegetables. And I'm trying to get, as you can see in the bottom of this pan, all this brown stuff that is forming on the bottom of this pan. That's what I'm trying to achieve, because I don't have any chicken stock, so I'll be adding water to this and some chicken bouillon. But all those little pieces that are in the bottom will scrape up, and that will add to flavor to this. So I'm going to let this set and saute for probably about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and peel and dice up my potatoes for this. Potatoes are in, and as you can see in the bottom of this pan, all those bits and pieces that will come up once I add the water to that. So I'm just going to put some black pepper, a little bit of salt, and I've got a chicken bouillon cube. I would normally put a bay leaf in here, but I do not have bay leaves. So I'm just going to use some rosemary, just a little bit. Add my water. And I'm going to start scraping the bottom of this pan, pulling up all those bits and pieces. This is going to need more water, so I'm going to fill this about 1.5 inches to 2 inches above the potato line. And then I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to let this simmer for about an hour and a half. And then about 30 minutes before this is ready to serve, I'm going to add a can of golden mushroom soup to this. I like my stew really, really thick, not a soupy stew. I will also add in some frozen peas at the very end. So I'm going to add more water to this, cover this, and let this simmer for about an hour, 15, somewhere around that line, until the potatoes and everything is cooked. This has been cooking now for a little over an hour, and as you can see, the fat that I put in there to add a little bit more flavor has pretty much rendered all of the flavoring out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these pieces of fat, which are the chicken skin. There wasn't a lot of it in there, but I want to make sure that I get all of that. There's nothing worse than biting into a spoonful of chicken fat. Now I'm going to add some frozen peas. Now you don't have to add peas if you don't want to. A lot of people don't like peas. I personally love peas, and I especially love it in soups and stews. So I'm going to add that. And as you can see, a lot of that broth or water has cooked down. So I've got a really good consistency of water or broth that's left. And now I'm going to add my can of golden mushroom soup. And to me, this is what makes this chicken stew out of this world. You don't have to use golden mushroom. I guess you could use a chicken gravy mix or something like that. If you don't like mushrooms, I can tell you that this does not give off a heavy mushroom flavor at all. There is some mushrooms in it, but for the most part, it doesn't give it a really mushroomy flavor. It just gives it a really good, rich gravy. So, as you can see, it's got a pretty good thickness to it. So now I'm just going to let this finish cooking for about a half an hour, and I'm going to let this cook uncovered. So a little bit more of that broth will cook out of this. Chicken stew is done. Made this in 2 hours. And as you can see, it's really nice and thick. Got some ciabatta bread in the oven. Going to get that nice and crispy for dipping. And then when that is done, it's time to plate this up.